Hey, you're listening to Winds of Praise Broadcasting. This is Scott Albright, and I am very pleased to have Tyler Watkins with me in the studio. Hello, Tyler.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And do I dare say you've got your kids with you?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I got
you
my
want to
two
introduce
kids.
them?
First time they're in a radio station, so I got my daughter here with me and my son, whose birthday's coming up in a couple days.
No way.
Yeah, he's going to be 11. It's pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Yeah, 11 is a good time.
It is.
Yep, I remember that.
I don't.
You don't.
Feels like a while ago.
I remember you, Tyler, growing up about that age or less.
Oh, don't tell too many stories.
Well, you've been around the block, so to speak. How old are you now?
37.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're still under 40. You got a long ways to go.
I feel like I've lived a lot of life in that 37 years, but yeah.
Yeah, you have, and we can talk about that. But what we want to talk about is the wonderful thing that you're doing in Toledo. And you can tell us the name, you can tell us what you're doing.
So most recently, been teaching out at Toledo Junior Senior High School for the last...
You've been teaching?
Yeah, the last 2 years.
So when you go to school, it's not because you're a student, but you are a teacher.
I am a teacher, yeah. I teach middle school PE, high school PE, middle school health, and middle school and high school strength training out there. And then I recently took over the Toledo High School boys wrestling program.
Amazing.
So yeah, I got lots of irons in the fire, but it is probably one of the most difficult jobs, and probably because I care a lot, but it is very rewarding, working with kids and I feel honored to be there.
Are you tough?
Used to be. Yeah, used to be. I wouldn't, not super tough anymore.
I had someone call me yesterday. He says, "You're too soft."
Yeah, I am very soft. It seems, yeah.
Well, yeah. I think that's part of our deal. We're supposed to love God and love even our enemies.
Yes.
And share the good news. Yeah. I mean, it gets pretty simple.
It does. It's pretty...
I know that you can draw a dividing line and judge other people, but I always say I'm not your judge.
Yeah, I think it's pretty profound when you start to understand grace, like who am I to judge?
So all that stuff you are teaching at the Toledo High School?
Yeah, Toledo Junior Senior High School.
And you started a ministry, which is a reach out to young boys.
Yeah, young boys and girls.
Girls. Yeah,
what we've started out there and just recently launched is the Homiehouse.
Okay.
And it's a 501c3 nonprofit. It's not a religious nonprofit, it's an educational nonprofit. And there's reasons why we did that. But we all have our stories, and I think that when we get these kids into this program and in there, our goal is long-term mentorship. Right, continued and frequent. These kids come back in and connect with mentors, and there's just community connection, and that's where the growth happens. Yeah. There's really a power in showing up.
So, do you have a age group that you target?
Yeah, we're right now set on 14 to 21 year olds.
Okay.
Like I said, guys and girls, and we want all kids. This is not just for, we're kind of fighting the narrative that's being pitched is that it's for those kids, the kids that might have behavior issues in school or attendance issues or come from this background or socioeconomic class. That's not who this is for. All of us need mentors in our life at various points in our life, and even the valedictorians, the smart kids that come from really loving families or very financially stable families, or the kids that come from, nothing or broken homes, there's people there at the Homiehouse that are willing and have a heart to connect.
Okay, right? So let's talk about the Homiehouse. I saw a post of yours on social media, and man, you were excited.
Yeah.
And I thought right from the get-go, I says, man, that's something I want to support.
Yeah.
I'd like to do something. I mean, I've got a lot of irons in the fire too, but still, you're reaching out to kids. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so this kind of was something that was laid on my heart probably 2018 as I was transitioning out of the military. I had the opportunity to serve in a special operations capacity for 10 years in the United States Navy. And I just knew after traveling around the world and living in all these different communities in America and seeing a lot of different things, I just desperately wanted to come back home. I had this connection to Lincoln County that was deeply rooted inside of me, and I think it's due to a lot of the connections that I have with people here. I came from a a pretty loving home, loving household where I had a mother and a father that were invested into the kids, and I was the beneficiary of that. But I also needed other people in my life, loving, trusting adults that cared for me. And it really took an entire community of people to keep me moving in the right direction. And I give a lot of credit to some of my teachers, but really my wrestling coach, Dave O'Donnell.
Oh, really?
Was the first person to look at me and say, look, kid, if you do what I'm asking you to do, you're going to go places. And for some reason, I believed him as a freshman, and it changed the trajectory of my life. It added discipline, it added structure. And I had those things at home, but when my parents were working, there's free time and idle hands, man, I would just get myself into trouble. And so he really changed the trajectory of my life, and it was his faith and confidence in me that I could do more than I thought I could do, and was willing to walk through that process with me, and the highs and lows that the sport of wrestling teaches you, that changed me a little bit. And so when I came back home, I had this desire to start something for youth, and I didn't really know what it looked like. So in 2018, I began calling people that I knew were still in the community and said, man, what would it look like if I started a nonprofit that was working with the youth? How would I fund it? Where would it be located? All of these questions. And I moved back early 2020, and I got a job at the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, and that chewed through a lot of my time. I didn't have a lot of time to invest into a project of this caliber and size and scope. And so, but I saw from that law enforcement perspective how little of a change I could make in that capacity in our community. You do show up and you do respond to calls, but in a very reactive type way, and not so much in a preventative type way.
It's kind of after the fact.
After the fact, yeah, right. After the crisis has happened or is currently happening, then you're being dispatched to deal with it. And it really was a revolving door for a lot of people. And so I saw it from that perspective, and I served in that capacity for about 2 years, and then went fishing, did a stint back on the ocean up in Alaska and locally out here. And that was a really healing time for me, just getting back into Mother Nature and healing from a lot of the trauma of my time in the Navy. And so after that time, I started substitute teaching, and I saw the state of our schools, and I was like, man, maybe this is where I can make a difference. And that led to me applying for a teaching job at Toledo Junior Senior High School, and the administration there felt that I was qualified despite not having a bachelor's degree or a teaching license and at the time. And so they offered me the job. I accepted. And then the need became very real about, man, I don't know how to, once somebody gets addicted to a substance, it's very hard for them to then find sobriety after the fact. But there's studies that show that if you can get a kid to 18 years old by providing a safety net for them, that they're 80% less likely to struggle with those addictions in their adult life. And so
that in the back of your head.
That's what I was thinking. And I could just see some of these kids at our school, specifically out in Toledo, slipping through the cracks. And despite my efforts trying to pull them into sports to provide them with mentorship in a coaching capacity or structure or some sense of belonging beyond school in an athletics type environment or a club, I just couldn't get them there. And so that led to asking the question of these students, what do you do after school? And they say, well, we go to the skate park. And I was like, well, I skate. Can I come skate with you? And then they said, sure. And so they then wanted to start a club through the school. And I was like, this is amazing, just this desire to be a part of something. And so that led to me asking the administration for a lot of grace and saying, could we start a skate club through the school and do some hoodies? They really want to have this Boomer logo on their hoodie. And they said yes. And so
you gave me a hat, by the way. The Homiehouse.
I did, yeah.
I didn't wear a hat today.
Well, now you got one. Yeah.
It's cool.
So we started the skate club, and that started with probably 5 kids, and it grew to 12 kids and 18 kids and 25 kids. And now we have about 35 kids that have signed up for the skate club in Toledo. And that led to me getting to know these youth outside of school, outside of a teacher capacity, and more in like a club administrator type way. And you really get to hear some of their stories, the personal stories, and delve into like what their personal lives are like outside of school hours. And it just, you just want to give them a hug, for showing up. And so that led to, there needs to be more, and maybe I can do more. And so what I did is I reached out to a lot of trusted adults that have a lot of experience in nonprofit work in our community, and sat them down in the gym at Toledo one night, and I pitched them this idea of the Homiehouse. At that time, I didn't have an idea of what the name was going to be. I just said, here's what I've identified as the need, and here's my vision on how we're going to fix it. And since then, we've done a lot of paperwork with the IRS and the Secretary of State. We've received our nonprofit 501c3 determination letter.
Congratulations.
Which is really exciting. We've worked with different landowners and building owners out in Toledo, and we've narrowed in on a specific building that we're going to be signing a lease for very soon. And then our plan is to launch and be doors open on Main Street in Toledo October 4th, serving the youth of Lincoln County.
Wow.
So the idea, once we launch, is our hours of operation are kind of dependent on how many volunteers I can get, trained mentors that I can bring in at a time. But the idea is that we would launch and open the doors around 3:30 in the afternoon, and 3:30 to about 5:30 would be our hangout time, where they're playing games, they're connecting with trusted adults that are trained, and each other. And it's a safe place for them to be, free of drugs, free of alcohol, free of violence or threats of violence. And it's a safe place for these kids to hang out. Then at 5:30, we would sit down and share a meal together. And it's a family dinner time. Whoever comes in to eat a meal with us, man, it's family. And there's intimacy in sharing a meal together. No matter where you go in the world, that's a common thing. You break bread.
Yep.
And there's what you're putting in your belly is going into my belly also, and there's this commonality that we now share. And so we'll eat a meal until about 6:30, and then we'll clean up. And then in December, what we're going to do is we're going to launch our professional development curriculum. And from 6:30 till about 9 o'clock, we're going to be providing these kids with services and curriculum, preparing them for what comes after high school. So our goal and desire is that all of our kids that come through our program matriculate into 3 different areas, which would be the trades of some sort, going to college, or into the military. But having a plan, I don't care if you want to own a chicken farm, just have a plan, and then let's create action steps of what we're going to do. And as time passes, maybe at 14, this was your desire when you're 18 years old, but that's a shifting target. You don't know really what you want to be. And so our mentors are there to walk through the ups and downs of life, but making sure that you're staying on track with where you say that you want to go, maturating to anything beyond college. And then after high school, there's studies that show that roughly 64% of kids who begin a 4-year school do not finish. And then of the kids that do finish, only 8% graduate college and move into a field of employment that their degree supports. And so there's a huge number of kids that go to a 4-year degree with this intent to finish and graduate with a master's or a bachelor's of arts or something, and then just can't find work. And so they get discouraged along the route and they end up dropping out. I'm a testament to that. And then when you come back home and you're scratching your head, what do I do now? That community is gone that you had when you were 17 or 16 years old. Your friends are gone. The community looks and feels different. And so we want to make sure that we're not losing those kids, right? Okay. But having another plan for them.
Let me interrupt you, and let me just tell people listening that you're listening to Tyler Watkins, and this is Scott Albright. And Tyler has started a nonprofit group called the Homiehouse in Toledo, so that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So Tyler, what do you need? Where are you? First of all, where are you? So a couple of questions. Where are you located right now, and what do you need?
Well, right now we're looking for a lot of different partnerships. There's 3 ways that you can get involved. We're looking for volunteers, business operations type volunteers, kind of behind the scenes, helping set up events, fundraising, and being an ambassador for us and sharing what we're doing. The Homiehouse is a long-term mentorship program for the youth of Lincoln County. The second thing that we're looking for is becoming a mentor. In order to become a mentor our priority is protect the kids. And so making sure that you can pass a background check and making sure that we go through the proper steps and to include an interview process with us, reviewing our policies and procedures and code of conduct. And then the third way is becoming a financial partner and a supporter of what we're doing. This is we're signing a lease, and the lease requires payments every month. And so the mission at the Homiehouse is to not be a flash in the pan organization, but a staple in this community to change and impact the lives of youth for the better in this community. And so becoming a financial partner, right now we don't have data to show a return on investment. And so at this point, it is almost like a blind trust to invest in and believe that we will have the return on investment. But that is our goal, is by year one to show the retention.
Got to take a step.
Yeah, we just have to take the step, and I'm not going to let the fear of money insecurity deter us from moving forward.
I had a friend once who asked me, hey, Scott, how do you start a radio station? And I started laughing. I said, I have no idea. Just one step at a time. Yeah. It's like, I remember being downtown Newport and my back against the wall is like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
And in fact, we were reading a book today, and part of Peter's famous prayer is a 3-letter prayer. Jesus, what next?
Yeah. I think it's necessary, and I don't think that I'm going to let fear deter us. No. And again, it's not just me. I'm so fortunate to have built a team that's way smarter than I am. I'm very lucky that I'm not the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
The fact that they trust me to be the executive director of this and lead and kind of steer the ship is something that I don't take lightly.
You got the vision for it.
Yeah, and so it's the need is so real. And I believe in it so much that the risk to me is worth the risk. And you can't afford to fail with kids, so we're not going to fail. We're going to find a way.
Well, congratulations on the October 4th site. Remember, that's when you went to have the grand opening. We formed on October 3rd.
Did you?
So that date, it's like, oh, that's close.
Yeah.
And it was a similar thing where we knew that there was just a need for a radio station. So we found ourselves in an accounting office, and she said, okay, do you want to be profit or not for profit? And we said, well, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's go nonprofit. So you are a nonprofit 501c3. You've already gotten that letter of determination from the state.
Yes.
And congratulations to you. So
yeah, thank you.
Do you have anybody that you want to talk about or mention by way of names of the people who have come alongside you or mentoring or? Yeah,
I think a couple that have just risen to the occasion would be Miguel Torres, who owns Buddy Roofing, has given a ton and is fully behind us and backing us and a big sponsor of us. Actually paid in full to have free tamales for everybody who came out to our skate contest in Toledo, and it was just incredible. Luke Bobeda with the Army National Guard is another one who's fully supporting and willing to come in and do whatever, but partnering with us and in our endeavor. The city of Toledo is partnering with us. South Beach Surf Shop is another one that's partnering with us. Bigfoot Beverage has donated to us. There's so many, and for everybody else that's given and partnered with us, thank you. My heart is full from the generosity.
That's so nice. So give us some phone numbers and contact information. We're going to have you also on the Winds of Praise Post magazine coming up, so look for that.
That's so awesome.
Let's see, we do 2 months at a time right now.
Okay.
We used to do a monthly newspaper, but the print went away.
Yeah.
And so we had to reshift.
Yeah.
And so we do a color magazine now, and every 2 months we do an issue.
That's awesome.
You'll get the next one. And Kelly, who couldn't be here tonight, she wrote out a bunch of stuff for you.
That's so great. Thank you. Hi, Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The website is thehomiehouse.com. Very easy. Very easy.
Spell it. Homie.
HOMIE. Homie. Everybody that's in there, man, you're homies. It's like I guess a term that we use for family, my little homies.
I've never had to spell it before. I would have said HOMEY.
Yeah.
So it's IE. Homiehouse.com.
Thehomiehouse.com. Our Facebook page is The Homiehouse Toledo. And then reach out to us at email, thehomiehousetoledo@gmail.com. Yeah.
Cool.
So lots of ways to get in touch.
Yeah. And do you have a phone number you want to give? prefer not to?
Yeah, probably at
Just
this
go
point.
to the website.
Yeah, reach out on the website. That's the best way. The website's really easy to navigate.
And I always tell everybody, if you want more information, you have no idea, just call me and I'll get you in touch.
There you go.
My phone number, and I give it out all the time, is 541-270-7855. I put the ringer on on silent, so I don't always answer the phone. It's like, it would drive me nuts otherwise.
Yeah.
And especially Kelly says, you got a text. I go, I know I got a text. I get to it when I can.
Yeah, do not disturb after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I usually go to bed fairly early, so I'm interested in becoming a mentor, but I don't know if I could make that till 9 o'clock at night.
It's a commitment, man. It is a commitment. And everybody that I've got that's already said, I'd love to be involved in any capacity, it means the world. I just really believe that this is the best community with the best people, and it takes a village.
Yeah.
And so many of us need that in our lives.
Yeah.
And I think it's a community issue. I really truly believe that this is all hands on deck. And so kids out in Toledo and Lincoln County and everywhere across this county, man, we're coming for you.
And who knows, but it might expand to other places. It might go into Newport, might go into Siletz even, where I live, and down to Walport. But it's got to start somewhere.
It does.
Toledo.
Toledo's where we're at right now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Tyler Watkins, you asked about how long this interview would last. I go, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes. So do you have anything that we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I just want to thank you for giving us the time.
Yeah.
To highlight this. And right now we're in the process of just spreading the word and making sure that the narrative that goes out about who we are and what we're doing, and so that people know it's not just me chasing these kids around, but there's a whole team of people. And then the really important date is October 4th, our launch date. So.
Well, there's a huge need. So this is the Homiehouse. It's just starting. Tyler Watkins, you are the executive director. Is that right?
Yeah. Can you believe it? I can't either.
And you brushed over it lightly, but you were a Navy SEAL.
Well, I was a Navy SWCC, which is the Navy SEALs and SWCC are both under Naval Special Warfare.
But you were
I was a
there.
special warfare combatant craft crewman, and I did that for a couple years, 10 years.
I don't think I would want to wrestle with you.
Wrestle? Oh, I love wrestling. I love wrestling. Not as tough as I used to be. A little weathered now.
I took over for Rick Russell, who was a coach, and his two sons wrestle Olympic style.
Yep.
And I was a young kid. I didn't start growing until I was 15. And they wanted me to wrestle to move up into the freshman year, and because I was a pound that they wanted, and I think I said no. I also got approached to be a bull rider, and I said no to that too.
Well, you could have had the buckle. Now, Rick left a lasting impression in Toledo. His legacy lives on there. We still are the machine, as Rick coined it, out there. And Tony Bloomstrom's legacy, and he's still continuing to coach.
Big shoes.
Yeah, and it's just, man, what an honor to be a part of something so impactful,
All right. So again, the website is thehomiehouse.com.
Thehomiehouse.com.
Go there, or if you want to call me for more information, then I'll direct you to that website.
Yeah.
But pay attention to the next Winds of Praise post.
Thank you.
Again, we'll have you on the cover of that. And Tyler Watkins, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you, kids, for coming in. Yeah. You didn't say much.
Radio silent.
All right. So you're listening to Winds of Praise, and God bless you. And we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you.
Bye.